Guys, I've been asked to show you guys how to create section cuts like we do in our section cut Saturdays on our social channels. And the benefit of the section cut is that anywhere that you decide to go through the model, you can see the details at that point in the model. So I'm going to get straight to it and show you how to do this. And we're going to go from a blank SketchUp model. So I'm just going to choose millimeters, but you would choose whatever. And I'm going to just bring in the default tutorial model, and it's already going to have scenes and everything set up, and as you can see it's loading as I go here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that model and I'm going to create sections in there for us. So SketchUp open for the first time here. I'm going to go up to my help and support, hover over help and support, and check out demonstration model here. That's going to open up a demonstration model that I can show you how to do this from scratch. All right, so we have a model. It has been created with PlusSpec, guys, so it knows a lot about it. And you'll notice all of these scenes across the top. Well, we just kind of want to make this into a section cut Saturday. So I'd probably go save as and so on. I'm not going to save this model at the end. And in my scene set, so you'll notice I clicked here. In my scene sets, I can either create a whole heap of scenes that are automatically set up for client presentation or design or documentation and drafting. But first thing I'm going to do, I've already got scenes up the top here. I'm going to delete those. So go submit, and you'll notice that all of my scenes are now gone. That saved me a heap of time, right? So, and then I'm going to go back to here and I'm going to choose a scene set. Let's go client presentation. And when I scroll down the bottom, you'll notice I have include animation scenes. There could be demolition scenes or attic scenes or different things about it, but I'm just going to create this one here and go submit. Okay, and you'll notice across the top that it's now replacing all of our scenes, right? Okay, so if I go to animation vertical, it also automatically has a section cut there. And if you wanted to see that section cut or reposition that section cut, I have my sections open. So if you right click up here in PC or Mac, you can get these sections. And if I click on this here, you'll notice it's saying that the first section cut is AV1. If I go on animation vertical 2, it's gone to the top, but it didn't go through the model the way that I wanted it to do. So what we do is we go up to Window on PC, we go to Model Info, and you'll notice the top one here says Animation, and we can enable scene transitions, and we can put in the time we want it to transition through that model. I'm going to say 2 seconds here. Okay. And now when I click on Animation Vertical, you'll notice that it's now scrolling or transitioning through that model. And the same would happen with Animation Horizontal. Now you might want to reposition this model so that when it actually does it, it turns up here instead. So I just moved it over, right click and update. And if I went to Animation Horizontal, now you'll notice it kind of centered in the screen a little bit better than what it did before. The same would happen with here. You'll notice at the top it's sitting right up here. Really, I want this down here so I get the most out of the visualization. Right click, update, and then go into Animation Vertical, and you'll notice it does. Now, if you change the timing, so Window, Model Info, and change it to 4 seconds, obviously it's going, and you can have a scene delay change in there as well if you want. Right, close that down, and now in Animation Vertical, you'll notice it'll take 4 seconds from the time it takes to get that section cut from the top and to the bottom of the model. All right. Now, there are a couple other things that I'd like to show you, like how to add your branding and so on, and then position these so they look the best possible. So what we can do is, in SketchUp 25, let's move that back up there, we now have the ability to add in HDR materials, photorealistic materials, and we also have the ability to add in, let's have a look here, environments. So now I could go and add an environment according to what it is that I want to show the client, right? And at the moment, you can just see it in the background because we have fog turned on. So if we went back into our default tray on PC, and it's actually hiding behind my head there. Let's just pin this default tray. So I have to keep going back. And I'm looking for my fog. The distance of my fog is greater, right, or less. Or we can just turn fog off altogether and we have the background there. So what I did is I actually clicked up on my scenes and display photorealistic materials, and that's enabled me to get reflections and so on the roof. And we can add these into our section cuts as well. So if I turn my sections back on, you'll notice that there are multiple sections in this scene. And these sections are actually on tags. So if I move this section, select and move to here, now my animation will only work to this particular area of where I moved that to. So when it's creating the section planes, it's creating them based on the model itself, the outside of the model. You want to move these to yourself. And you can also create fills inside of these as well, and you'll notice that that's just filled in anything that was solid there as well. So you have the ability to change these, and this toolbar is your sections toolbar that I mentioned earlier. And you can save these locations. Right click, update. Save it as a new style, update scene. And therefore just this one scene is that new style. Therefore when I go back to here, it's gone back to the other. If I had have chosen to update all of the scenes, so right click, well, I'll add a different environment in here. So let's say we add this one and turn my fog off again. Fog is good because you can actually just, I'll show you, you can make it so you can see a little bit of the background or a lot of the background according to what it is you want to show. 100% fog. Let's move down so we see that background a little bit better. Right, and you'll notice that this is all just cleared out. You can actually change the color of your fog as well if you wanted to. Just use background color, or you can change here. Right, you can create some pretty cool looking things. Obviously you probably wouldn't choose that color. Now the next thing is if I wanted to add in my branding or my business logo or whatever that might be. So I'm just going to close these down here, and we're going to go to styles. Close that environments down. Let's go to styles. Inside of styles, you'll notice that we have the edit function here, and inside of the edit function we actually have this watermark settings. When I click on watermark settings, I can now add an image into my SketchUp model. Now I'm going to just put 2 in here so you can see what happens. I've opened up an image, and it's saying, would you like it to be an overlay in the center, or would you like it to sit in the background? Right? And you'll notice that now I can't see it because it's sitting behind the model. So I'm going to go next anyway. And I could create a mask, which would mean that it would automatically always go through everything in the background of my model. And I can tile it across the screen and choose a scale. And we might be lucky and see it, but the fog is covering it because I put it in the background. If I go down and turn my fog off, I'll just go to finish there and go down and turn my fog off, you'll notice that I now have this particular style. Right? You can also go and edit it because you probably wouldn't, that's a little bit too busy. So let's go back, and inside of our styles, inside of edit, I can click on this watermark and I can go edit. And therefore I can change the style, or the scale, sorry, whether it's going to be tiled or positioned, and then I can position it inside of the model at the back. And this is still in the background, right? So I'll just go okay and show you that. When I move the model up, the logo isn't showing on top of my model. However, if I go and add another one, let's go here, and let's say add a Plus Design Build logo in, right? And this is over the top, so overlay, and I go next. Now you'll notice that I have the ability to blend the model with the background. So I can back that off a little bit so it's not so in your face, and go next, position in screen, up to the top right, and increase the scale. Right, and finish. Now you can go back and edit these at any time, but more importantly, if you go right click and update, I can update the selected style, which would be all of them, which means this style is used in multiple areas around the SketchUp model, then this style will update automatically, or I can save it as a new style, update scene. And therefore, when I click between scenes, I can see different logos according to the scene that I actually created. All right. So it's a really good way to actually show people what's going on here and how we're going to utilize the section cut to show how we want this to turn out. And you'll notice I'm getting different environments with different section cuts, and I can go and look through this model and look at any detail wherever I see fit by moving that section plane through the model. Guys, I hope it helps you. Like, I do find this beneficial when I'm doing jobs with clients to show them through the house, but at the same time, when I'm having subcontractors and we're trying to deal with problems, for instance, we can clearly see that that duct should not be in that location, so we can move things around live in the model so that we can solve issues as we go. And this is a big benefit for engineers, for subcontractors, or whatever it might be that we're trying to achieve here. We can move things wherever we want them to go. All right, guys, hope it helps. If you've got any questions, ask them below. I look forward to seeing your Section Cut Saturday videos. Cheers.